Hey everybody, welcome back to Ravenstead. It's time for another build. We're going to the Underdark this time. I'll start in with a little bit of steps here. I'm going to use a craft knife throughout the video. Don't cut myself, so don't worry about that. I've got an 8-inch by 8-inch base, and I'm thinking about doing a series of these. We'll see how the palette works out, how everybody likes it, but I could see maybe making a series of maybe 9 of these tiles that'll all fit together. I decided to do a little something different there with that step. I did have the back end kind of square. My knife is just rubbish. Let me get a new one. There we go. So I ended up whittling that away so it would be a little bit more accommodating to other tiles. That way I don't have like a terminal edge to any of this scenery. So I can use 1, or I can use 2 or 4 or 6 or all of them. Who knows? So these are going to be some rocky columns in this cavern. If I were playing on this piece and I wanted a ceiling, that would give me some height to the build. Or if I wanted these columns where, you know, somebody could climb up on top and have a vantage point, that would work as well. Drive a couple of deck screws into those just to kind of stiffen them up a little bit. Add in a few boulders here and there. This is just little pieces of foam that I've chipped away with my fingers and hot glued down. Now we'll go over the whole piece with a mixture of Mod Podge and black acrylic paint. This will give us some good shadows. It's the Underdark, so we want this piece pretty dark. So I'll get everything coated with this and let it dry. And then we'll start doing some dry brushing. Got a new palette here, a couple different colors, a dark purple, a neon purple, a neon blue, and then a lime green. That's pretty bright. It's not neon, but it shows up pretty good. So we'll dry brush on the dark purple first. That's going to go over everything. That'll give us a base color. And then I've got like little trails here that I kind of textured in with a little bit of aluminum foil. Rolled that pretty deeply. That's the neon purple. That'll give us our next higher value. We'll start building those shadows and highlights. A little bit of the neon blue. And I'm just doing this wet on wet, so the paint's kind of mixed together on the brush and on the piece. That was a little startling when I first put that on. I was like, oh, this might be a mistake, but that's okay. We work through our mistakes, right? So just blending that in. It ends up working pretty well. A little bit of lighter purple. The only thing I have to watch for with this palette is the colors getting muddy. So the green does not get along well with the purples. It tends to make brown. So I have to be pretty careful with that. Kind of a bravery test there. It was pretty stark. We'll eventually make a wash for this piece. Here I'm going to make a new wash. I got 50 milliliters of water and then 10 drops of this fluid acrylic. It's just a runnier acrylic paint, but it's got a high pigment amount to it, so it almost acts like acrylic ink. I'll mix that up. I found a little bit of white reindeer moss and I decided to use that for Underdark foliage, and do a little test here to see if it takes the wash, and it did really well. Just gonna shake off the excess, drop it back in by mistake. There we go. So I'm just kind of soaking off the extra on this paper towel, and then I'll just set it to the side on a piece of wax paper to dry. Did make it a little bit crusty. Oh, I wanted to see what it would do to this bright green lichen, and as expected, it just kind of turned brown. It also leached out some of the dye. So the white reindeer moss is really the only kind that works, I think, pretty well for this. And then I'll use that same wash to go over the piece, and that'll just give us the purple overtone and kind of dull things down a little bit. Get a nice coat on that, let that dry, and then we'll start putting in some foliage. I wanted to make a little bit of flocking, so I've got some sphagnum moss that's dyed purple. Just bought that from a store. And then some of the bright green lichen and the white reindeer moss, and ran that through a coffee grinder. Got it nice and fine. Only drawback was the sphagnum moss does have kind of a woody string-like structure to it, so I ended up having to pick some of that out, but no big deal. I really like the texture of this. It's pretty soft, and it adheres really well to glue. So I think I'll be using this for the series. And it looks really awesome under blacklight, which I'll show you later on. Just using a little PVA glue to make some vines. This kind of had the like the Stranger Things upside down kind of vascular look. It was really kind of gross, but yeah, I can't wait to show you this in the blacklight. It's really awesome. It ended up being the bright green lichen that showed up really well. I'll just tap off the excess there. I'll just put a little bit of this here and there to kind of homogenize the look. I got a little blob of shiny glue in there, so I kind of wanted to cover that up. Just drop a little PVA glue and sprinkle some in, and we're done. Get some of our foliage in there. I'm just going to hot glue this in. It would probably work better if you used white glue or PVA glue. You don't get those annoying strings, but you know, I'll just sit there and pick them off. It's no big deal. Looks pretty good. Now, like I said, this was a little stiff because of the wash that I put on there, but it worked out pretty well. And one more piece of lichen here, and then I'll show you the final build. Let me spin this for you. There it is. That's incandescent light in my shop with a single black light bulb over top. So that's kind of picking out the highlights. And then here towards the end, I'll show you a couple of shots where I just turned the lights out and just had the black light going. Thanks for watching another video, guys. Leave me a comment. Love to hear your thoughts on this new build series. And look forward to hearing from you. I think the guys are in trouble there. Uh-oh. Thanks for watching.